The crazy, wacky, and wild world of Grand Theft Auto 5 is full of mysteries and wonders. You have tons of theories on one hand, like the recently viral 27 theory, but also myths and legends that have garnered for over a decade. However, behind all of the glamour of Los Santos and its sex appeal, hipsters, celebs, lies a lot of darkness and blasphemy that is shrugged off and regarded as nothing but silly things. Every single open world made by Rockstar is not just another generic playground. And apart from the fact that you play as 3 psychopathic dudes in this game, there are of course no end to their shadiness as well. Weirdly enough, the world and its people are somehow very used to this. You never see them acknowledge how much of a messed up world they truly live in. The more you pay attention, the more the world of Los Santos actually gets shrouded in darkness. By the way, Final Fantasy 1 is goated. And to expose you to some of this, I have crafted an iceberg that contains some of the most disturbing theories of Grand Theft Auto 5. At the top of the iceberg, we have theories that aren't that disturbing, but the lower we go down the iceberg, the more disturbing the theories will get. I came up with a few of these theories myself, and the rest of them are from the World Wide Web. So without further ado, let's take a look into this iceberg. In Grand Theft Auto 5, the way your wanted level works is when you commit a crime like aiming your gun at someone or killing people, someone else will see that crime happen and will report it to the cops. If you behave hostile towards a cop, then no one will need to communicate it to the cops as they have just witnessed you committing a crime, and thus you will receive an immediate wanted level. Another way you get immediate wanted level in GTA 5 is that you kill multiple civilians or blow up vehicles, which makes sense as a crime like that will naturally receive headlights and will reach the cops. But there is one thing that doesn't make a lot of sense when it comes to the wanted level mechanic of GTA 5, and that is how you receive a wanted level without being seen or witnessed of committing a crime. For example, if you kill someone or multiple civilians on top of a mountain where no one else has seen you commit that crime, you will immediately receive wanted level stars. This theory basically says that you and your location is always being monitored by the LSPD. It might sound a bit disturbing at first, but the reason this is on top of the iceberg is because it really isn't that strong of a theory. See, if that was the case, then why would the LSPD ever allow for any crimes to happen in the first place? Why do you get away when you only kill one person? Why do you not get any wanted stars for every single crime that you commit? Theory suggests that it's because of crimes the police have a job, as we all know that the cops of Los Santos are very corrupt. The theory suggests that because of the corruption, they let you commit crimes before you get to be on the wanted status. Personally, I think the game just needed a balance of challenge, and that's why when you commit some small crimes according to the game, you get away with it. Otherwise, it would have been very annoying to deal with the cops in every single situation of the gameplay. Yes, it is very unrealistic to think that this theory would even exist in the first place, but you have to understand that we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 5 here. This game is full of things that are plain and simply not realistic and wacky, but also realistic. But you would also be surprised to know that this theory has actually existed since the beginning of Grand Theft Auto 5. So, in my opinion, it's simply a gameplay mechanic, but yes, the theory does fall under accurate world building because of how wild and crazy the universe of Grand Theft Auto can be. And the fact that the cops are actually so corrupt only elevates and helps this theory. Bigfoot has always been a part of the myths of Grand Theft Auto. One of the earliest of GTA to have this myth was GTA San Andreas. This is important to GTA 5 as well, because you have to understand that both GTA 5 and GTA San Andreas takes place in Los Santos, which means if something exists in the LS of San Andreas, in theory that should also exist in GTA 5 as well. Even though there is a popular belief that the HD era of GTA and 3D era are not really canon, I would like to believe that this doesn't make sense because things like Grove Street and the Ballas still exist in GTA 5. So that would mean that even if the games are not canon in their storytelling, they still follow all of the same world building lores. With that being said, the reality was that GTA San Andreas never had an actual Sasquatch in the game. Actually, it did, but Rockstar Games removed that prior to the release of the game, which is why it is rumored by people that the game might still have Sasquatch in it, but the footage that you see on YouTube is basically modded. The Bigfoot Sasquatch is actually in GTA 5 though. However, getting to it is a bit of a mystery in itself. See, you can never find a Sasquatch or even see one in the actual game. But Rockstar never mentions this anywhere, that if you complete the game and go for a 100% completion, then you actually will get a secret mission that a lot of players don't know about. After achieving 100% completion, you will get to play the mission called The Last One. You will meet an old guy, and let's let the cutscene do the talking for us.
You lucky boy. You're real lucky.
Why?
I thought you was a Squatch. Nearly pulled a bullet in you. Made my goddamn fortune.
A what?
A Sasquatch.
Man, you believe in that bullshit?
I spent 8 years combing these woods. I've seen one. Hundreds of times. I just never got a clear shot. Here, look at this. It's fresh sketch.
Man, you just gonna carry that shit loose in your pocket like that?
Always. Hold on. Damn! I could have sworn! They're clever bastards. Some of them wear orange so that people will think they're hunters. Let's go this way.
Sasquatches, huh?
A picture would be good. A stuffed head, even better. Scat sites down there in the valley there. I'm gonna cover these cliffs. Been hunting that beast longer than you'll ever know, boy.
After that, you are supplied with a couple of snipers and shotguns. You hear a howl and go to investigate that area. When you see something that looks like a Sasquatch, you try to find him, and a couple of cougars try to kill you and protect the Sasquatch. After you dispose them, you finally get to the Sasquatch, and this happens.
Shoot me, human.
I just did.
Shoot me, human. Make it stop.
I just shot your ass and stopped.
I'm the last of my kind.
Yeah, evolution is a bitch.
We've lived in these woods 1,000 years.
Man, wait a second. It's just a fucking mask.
Make it stop, human.
Man, shut the fuck up with that bullshit. What the fuck is wrong with you running around the woods in a costume?
I'm the last of my kind.
Man, you fucking freak.
Hey, I'm no freak. It's perfectly normal to admit to being aroused role-playing dressed as a fantastical beast.
What the fuck was that?
What do you want it to be?
Man, go fuck yourself, man.
It's safe to say that Rockstar definitely nodded to the fan theories that they created in the first place, but I have to admit that it was very strange how none of the animals are going after him. And yes, though that is probably because the game wasn't programmed to do that, it's still weird to think about it, because if the guy in a Sasquatch costume was good enough to fool humans, he probably fooled the animals around too. But the most disturbing part of this entire theory was how all along it was just some guy who was into being a furry. They really put pyrocynical in GTA 5, huh? The abandoned mineshaft located at the Great Chaparral. It is like the name says, a lonely, isolated, and in the literal middle of nowhere, a mineshaft. The door of the mineshaft tells you how you cannot enter it as the property is closed to the public, which means this property was most likely shut down by the government. But of course, we don't know that for sure. Once you enter the place, you will find a dead body inside. From what it seems, the dead body has been there for quite a while, but if you shoot it, bleeding starts to happen, which makes me wonder if the dead body is really old, and is it an actor who used to be this person and was murdered. What's interesting is that you can actually find a film reel right next to his dead body too, which shouldn't be too weird when you start to think that he might have been an actor. But this entire rabbit hole goes way deeper than we thought. Other than this dead body, the entire shaft is actually blocked, which makes it more ominous because the place is definitely old and abandoned, yet the dead body still leaks blood as if it is a new one. So to give you some backstory, the person laying dead is Isaac. He is indeed an actor. He used to work for Fred Quincy, who is basically the Walt Disney of Grand Theft Auto 5. In a movie titled Bib the Dog, Quincy got him murdered and left his body on that mine shaft. The reason he did that is because, according to Quincy, Isaac betrayed him in the worst way possible, and the worst way is that Isaac did not give his full on the production of that film. That's right, Quincy killed Isaac because Isaac didn't give his best performance on his movie, which does make a lot of sense why his dead body was left in a place which is abandoned. But it still isn't quite clear as to why the place was abandoned. Was it that it was already abandoned so it gave Quincy a good reason to hide the dead body there? Or was it that he used his powers in the vinewood industry in order to shut the mines down? He does mention that he left Isaac up in the mines, which does give us a clue that the area wasn't a train track of sorts. But what were they mining down here and why was it actually abandoned is still not known. We also don't know what is in the film reel that is found near the dead body, but it most likely has something to do with the movie, and maybe, just maybe, it is the documentation of the murder itself. From the way Quincy talked about Isaac and how he knows he has committed sins, it is probable that he was religious or at least believed in some form of deity. My best guess is that because he's a filmmaker and director who also has some faith as well, he probably didn't want the murder to be kept mysterious, and that is why he considered his revenge a sort of masterpiece. By leaving the reel at the front of the body, he not only let anyone who may find it see his masterpiece, but also in this way, God didn't let him completely get away. Michael used to be a bank robber. The game begins with this, and we see the reason why he stops doing it as well. However, his family knows his past too, and they're very okay with it. None of his children ever really complains about his past unless their relationship with him gets bad. His wife was in some ways okay with him being a bank robber, but wanted him to end his reign, and we get to see that in a cutscene where the family goes to a therapist. It happens during the mission family reunion.
You're like finally using your powers of selfishness and rage for like good, not an objective universal good, but like a subjective what's in our best interest kind of good.
Fuck yeah! Awesome! Let's rob somebody!
Do it, Dad!
Yeah!
Do it! Do it!
Enough! Okay? I love that we're getting along, but knock it off.
Yeah, don't like actually rob a liquor store. That might like kill the mood.
Fucking therapy. Let's do that shit.
Hey, how about you just let your mom and me talk, okay? We got some issues we gotta iron out. And seeing as you two aren't into it, you can just sit there and be quiet.
I'm fighting.
Amanda!
Hello.
Good to see you again. Michael, I'm so glad. Isn't this great?
Fantastic.
Michael, be positive.
I am being positive. This is me being positive.
Give it up, Michael. The sarcasm. It's one of the reasons I moved out. It's beneath you.
No, it's not, Amanda. Trust me. Nothing's beneath me.
No, normally there's a whore beneath you.
You know, for someone who spends every waking moment working on themselves inside and out, I gotta tell you, the progress has been really fucking slow.
How would you know what progress is like, you stupid murdering shit?
Gee, because all you do is whine at me.
Oh, all I do is whine. Michael, could you please stop murdering people? Michael, could you please stop endangering me and the both of your children? You kill people and then you sit in the sun and drink and feel guilty about it. That is not work.
I don't see you complaining on the way to the fucking bank. I mean, let's face it, Amanda. We're trailer trash, you and me. We were taught to do this.
Get a center, Michael. You have no center.
How about you suck my cock? Huh? No, wait. We'll both get a center before that ever happens.
You are such a fucking animal, a deranged animal.
You're fucking right on deranged. How could I not be?
I should have had you locked up years ago, you stupid
Do it.
shit.
Do it. I'll put you in the fucking ground with the rest of them.
You can see how his children react to him and his past, and that's it. I get it that they live in Los Santos and people are kind of used to it and desensitized, but that goes to show you how messed up the situation is. Yes, they don't know that he betrayed Trevor and plotted to get him killed so that he was the only one who survived and got away with it all, but they do know that he used to be or still is a murdering psychopath. His wife literally calls him that as well, but the thing is that they are all okay with him doing it. He is not any better by the end of the game. Hell, he's worse. He robs the most valuable bank in Los Santos along with his buddies and they call it the big one. So his behavior never really changed. All that differed was his treatment towards his family. He got more caring, but he solved all the problems with the same method, which is violence and killing. And this is a disturbing thing to see. Not to mention, a lot of the dangers that his family faces is indirectly because of his actions. Niko Bellic is the protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 4. The way Rockstar makes their games is so that whatever happens to one character of a previous game is left up to the player's own interpretation. The only character to whom it didn't happen is Johnny, but Niko's fate is pretty much left up in the air. So, in order to explain it, we need to take a look at Niko Bellic and the story of Grand Theft Auto 4. Long story short, Niko came to Liberty City in order to find the traitors who betrayed him and his team during the Yugoslavian War. By the end of the story, Niko either loses his cousin Roman or his girlfriend depending on the choices made by the player, but he stays alive. Fast forward to Grand Theft Auto 5 and you can hear that Niko Bellic's location is unknown. Lester talks about him but then immediately says how he went quiet. If Packy is saved during one of the random events in GTA 5, you can hear from him talking about the heist in 3 Loaf Clover from Grand Theft Auto 4. Needless to say, he thinks Niko is dead as well.
You, generic goon. What was your first bank score?
You know what? My first job ain't that interesting. I think I was spotting for my brother's scores in junior high. What is interesting is my biggest job, the Bank of Liberty City.
Ah, shit, yeah. I heard you were part of the crew that took that down.
I ran the crew. It was me, my brother Derek, God rest his soul, my pal Michael, God rest his soul, and another boy, Niko, who's probably dead too.
They're all dead. Must have been jinxed, huh?
All I know is I live to tell the tale. We went in, my pal Michael gets shot. I take down the hero who did it, then we blow the vault, take the money, and meet half the LCPD coming out. The cops are outside, they're in the street, down the alleys, they're in the subway. We just keep moving and shooting, moving and shooting. Climbed out the subway, found a car, and we were away.
Sounds like you were the right guy to bring along on this. Let's just hope we ain't jinxed as well.
One last drop of Niko in Grand Theft Auto 5 that we get to see is in the character creator screen of GTA Online. To be fair though, a lot of other characters from previous Rockstar games did make it to this list of character selection, so I wouldn't be treating Niko any different here. However, when you switch to Michael, and if you get the scene where Amanda and Tracy are mad at Michael and Jimmy says that he is starting to understand why Michael was a bank robber, then you can look at his laptop while he is sitting down and it will show you that he is looking at the Life Invader page of Niko Bellic. Turns out, he is still alive as he was recently active in Life Invader. Yes, this is essentially an Easter egg, but that doesn't mean it cannot be legit. But here is where the theory lies. If he was active recently in Life Invader, why did Lester say that he went quiet, and also why didn't Packy not know about him at all? You would think that these people would look for Niko anywhere they can, right? it. Not to mention, Life Invader is basically the Facebook of Grand Theft Auto 5, but unfortunately they did not. Which leads me to believe that this is nothing more than just an Easter egg, because if it was canon, then it would make no sense that Lester out of all people wouldn't look for Niko. It is possible that his account got hacked and that is why it showed that he was recently online, but I highly doubt Rockstar would go that far for just a simple reference. I know this isn't that scary, rather it's sad, but I wanted to mention my boy Niko before we go full pedal. Debra is the fiancée of Floyd Hobart, and from the moment she's revealed to the players, it is clear that she doesn't care about Floyd at all. Trevor cares more about Floyd than his own girlfriend. But why is this the case? Trevor goes on to make Floyd understand that she never cared about him at all, and of course Floyd never actually believes him. One can easily see that Debra is very controlling, which is probably why she is in a relationship with Floyd, as she can practically tell Floyd whatever she wants and he will do it like the bitch he is. Debra is also very much of a narcissist, and you can see that if you actually check out the entire house. Small details and clues here and there will tell you that the relationship is very much one-sided. So why is this narcissistic lawyer having a relation with a nobody like Floyd? Does she even care about him? Well, let's take a deep dive into her past. Debra is actually cheating on Floyd with another guy. See, because she is a lawyer and travels all around the world, her relationship with Floyd is rather strained. The man she's having sex with is named Bob. She even threatens both Floyd and Trevor when they're all in a conflict at one point and mentions Bob, which is why probably her and Floyd's room are separate because they never sleep with each other. In her room, a book called Chains of Intimacy can be found. In her Bleeder profile, she's seen claiming work is great when home life is underwhelming. This is another detail which tells us that she is 100% cheating on Floyd. She even tells Floyd that she is embarrassed to be seen with him in front of her co-workers. And the fact that she's a lawyer tells us that she's definitely seeing Floyd as a nobody and a peasant who works at the dock compared to her professional lawyer job, which also probably makes her more money than Floyd as well. Debra most likely entered the one-sided relationship with Floyd to take advantage of his low self-esteem, so she can boss him around to do chores around the condo and buy groceries. It's suggested that Floyd is actually scared of Debra and hence is quick to do her bidding, all while she can cheat on Floyd with her co-workers to probably further her career. This theory makes a lot of sense since she is a narcissist, so she would love to do whatever it takes to get more fame in her career.
My G-damn cousin, Trevor. I thought we was family. But please, just go and ruin somebody else's home furnishings.
Who the F is that, Floyd?
No one, my sweet.
Hey, by any chance, did you catch crabs at that conference?
Floyd!
I heard that those conferences are regular little fuck fest, huh? Can I come in?
I'd like you to leave right now.
Oh yeah, some serious corporate gangbanging going on, right? Yeah, with every executive and director of communications from here to Bangalore taking it left, right, and center in the name of team training, right? I mean, now that's what Floyd told me yesterday as he was staring at my penis.
Get out of my condo! And you go too, Floyd! I told you, I've got a career! I don't need this crap!
Yes!
There. You made me swear. You're crap, Floyd. Crap! You're not a man at all. Bob's right about you.
Oh, who's Bob?
I want both of you to go now. You and your weird friend.
Whoa! Hey! My name is Trevor, sweetheart.
I could give a fuck what your fucking name is. I'm not afraid to use this. I'm not. Bob taught me.
Fuck Bob! You people are not very fucking nice!
Oh, hey there, Trevor.
Hey there, Wade.
Did you meet Debra?
Ooh, interesting lady.
I should probably go say hi.
I wouldn't.
Why not?
Let's go get in the car, all right? Let's go have the time of our lives.
For the longest time, a theory that the Loch Ness monster is in the game existed, but of course there were never any sort of sign, but the fans always kept theorizing the possibilities of the monster along with the Sasquatch, which we have already seen in this Iceberg. After a decade later, Rockstar finally added the monster in the game, and it is in GTA Online, the Cayo Perico heist update. At first I thought, well, they finally listened to the fans when it came to something, but after some digging I found out that that might not be the case. The Loch Santos monster, which is basically the Loch Ness monster appearing in GTA Online, has its root in Scotland, as the myth is a Scottish myth. Interestingly, Rockstar Games as a company also originated from Scotland. Now, did they add the monster in the game because they listened to the fans? I highly doubt it. It most likely had to do with them adding it because it is rooted in the Scottish myth, just like how they added the Sasquatch in the game simply because they probably don't hear the fans, but more likely due to the fact that they wanted to add the monster in a previous GTA title and failed to do so. Since that was GTA San Andreas, which takes place in Los Santos just like GTA 5, they added the monster because they finally could. There are a ton of phone numbers in the game and you can call in order to get a reply. Sometimes these numbers are also advertised within the world itself. Just like that, you can also call certain phone numbers in order to activate a cheat in the game. But there is this one phone number which has a rather strange effect. Upon dialing the number 1-999-367-3767, you will see the phone titling the caller Black Cellphones, after which nothing happens except for this. It is very strange to think, why does this actually happen? It's most likely a sort of EMP blast, but it makes no sense. Also, unlike other cheats which if you enable them would make the game lock the trophies temporarily, as otherwise you could just cheat and get the trophies, there are no such warnings. At least I didn't get them whenever I tried calling this number, but it seems that it does no damage to the players whatsoever. So what is the point of this call? The number has been speculated to be 1-999 EMP drop. This will set the phone's theme to the regular gray and set the phone's background to a pure black, which otherwise cannot be obtained, which should answer the question of why it's called Black Cellphones. It will also make the phone that you have grow a bit big. The strange thing is that if you actually call the number and the blast happens, it can latch on fire as well. Cops can be mad at you for doing it too. It is confirmed that the cheat code works with all the 3 game characters in single player mode but does not work for online. Included with the code is the name of a mission called Ojasod, meaning this number could be triggered during that mission. The problem with this is that there is no such mission with that name, which means the true meaning may never be uncovered. Some fans have theorized that it could be the name of a mission in a future DLC, and the Black Cellphones serve as an alternate reality game. This may not be a paranormal occurrence, since 1-999-367-3767 also could translate as 1-999 Emperor, which is the name of the color that phone's theme changes to. So it is most likely a leftover cheat code that Rockstar never put out of the game for some reason. Still, the fact that the game doesn't see this as a cheat is very peculiar. Every time you load up GTA 5, you will always see splash screens telling you what's new in GTA Online, and other tips on how to play the game. Though I never seen one by myself, apparently there is a suicide splash screen tip for GTA Online. I have tried to load my game to GTA Online right from the loading screen, but unfortunately it doesn't appear for me at all. Which is why I don't know if this is an actual tip that appears for everyone else or just for selective players. What this splash screen is telling us is that in GTA Online, you can take the easy way out, which is basically committing suicide. The reason this exists is because in the game, there are situations where you might be stuck in a place from where you simply can't get out, and you need to take the easy way out in order to spawn somewhere else. For example, if someone blocks the door of a store in which you were shopping, so now you cannot get out of it, you can simply take the easy way out, and that will make you spawn somewhere else outside of the store. It's not really that deep or disturbing, but I wonder why I never got it. I do have to admit, I mostly load into story mode first, then go into online. But for this Iceberg, I tried this, but I never got this tip ever. Aliens are in a very weird position in GTA 5. On one hand, they have been a staple of the entire series, but on the other, they're not really confirmed. Yes, we do have UFOs in the actual game, but how much of that is considered as a simple Easter egg, and how much of that is considered as actual canon event? In GTA 5, there are some missions where you get to see the aliens. For example, the mission Grassroots for Michael will make him kill aliens, but you have to understand that this is the mission where Michael is drugged up, so the aliens are simply in his head. Another interesting detail is in the mission Did Somebody Say Yoga? After Michael is again drugged by Jimmy, he is being abducted by aliens, and monkeys are there to fulfill the abduction ritual. Why aliens always appear where Michael goes? In the prologue of GTA 5, there is a hidden alien in North Yankton as an Easter egg set by Rockstar. Isn't that weird how it's always Michael that gets a connection with the aliens? Why is that the case? When Michael is abducted by the aliens, he is then thrown out in the sky, which basically takes place in his own head, so it's not real. But the aliens myth has always been very popular in the Grand Theft Auto series. Aliens were also mentioned heavily back in GTA San Andreas, which also takes place in the same location as in Grand Theft Auto 5. With all the evidence that we have, or the lack of, we cannot really say that aliens exist in reality. But the UFO Easter egg tells the contrary. Why would there be UFOs if there are no aliens? Not to mention, GTA Online made UFOs to be a part of the Halloween update. Again, it's most likely that Rockstar added these as a gameplay mechanic for GTA Online, as online is not really taken as seriously as the story mode when it comes to storytelling. But that has its own theories and shenanigans, which we won't get into in this Iceberg. Lastly, the character known as Omega will also give you side missions related to space parts believing that UFO or some sort of other alien spaceship exists, which is another clue that aliens are probably way more than just an imagination. Trevor always spoke to others about his miserable past, especially his miserable and awful childhood. Whether used in a sarcastic way or not, Rockstar never shied away from the fact that Trevor's upbringing was very problematic, which is most likely the case on why he is the way he is. In a Stranger and Freaks mission called Mrs. Phillips, you meet Trevor's mother. A lot of fans have theorized that Trevor was probably in an incestual relationship with his mother. mother, because throughout the game, Trevor will actually give some nods to this idea. First of all, he likes Patricia, gets to have sex with her, but Patricia looks oddly similar to Trevor's mother, which makes sense as to why Trevor would want to sleep with Patricia. Another thing that you can notice is if you go to a strip club, Trevor will say to the dancer that his mother used to be a stripper too. Also, Trevor finds the slur motherfucker extremely offensive. In a rampage mission, he will yell how he is not a motherfucker, which shows that he has deep honor and respect for his mother. But when the two meet, it's clear how they both feel about each other. Trevor feels and yearns for his mother. Unfortunately, his mother never really cared about him. Of course, if she did, then Trevor probably wouldn't turn out the way he did. But the truth is that Trevor always cared about his mother, insane or not. She meanwhile used her son and dominated him. She doesn't actually care about the accomplishments of Trevor, because when she asks Trevor to get her a truck full of Deludamol, which is clearly a sort of medicine used as a drug, Trevor will get her what she wanted, but unfortunately, that's not the only thing she asks. She also asks to find her a gentleman, as Trevor needs to have a father figure in his life. And you can clearly see how much that upsets him because of his incestual relationship with his mother, but she is using her own son for her selfish benefits. After getting the Deludamol truck, Trevor finds out his mother isn't there, which shows how his mother is never there for his achievements. Another very popular belief is that his mother isn't actually who appears in this mission. His mother isn't even there. This entire mission probably takes place in Trevor's head, and that's because Trevor's dad drugged him when he was a kid, and because of that, he imagined that his mother was still alive. There are no evidence of either of these two ever happening, but there are only clues that does hint towards both of the events taking place. Trevor is rather turned on by BDSM instead of genuine love and touch of a woman. It is definitely noticeable by the way he talks to other women. His cannibalism also does shine through at times. Though the upper part of the map doesn't have a lot to do, you can still explore it and find animals and other interesting points of interest. If you venture up on the map and reach the hills at the Sanchiansky mountain range, you will come across this grave. When I saw this at first, I personally thought that it was nothing more than just a detail, because it will keep players thinking on for days with little to no effort on the developer's side. And it also adds to the world building of Grand Theft Auto, which is already very huge. However, this lonely grave has a couple of theories swarming it. The main theory behind this grave is that this is the body of the mother of Ursula. Ursula is an NPC that you might or might not have come across. She is one of those NPCs that only appears in one of the random events of the story mode. In one of the events where you play as Trevor, you get to meet her. You could immediately tell that she is not right in the head. She and Trevor will end up sleeping with each other, and she will indeed be added to your contract list as one of the booty call girls. But what does that have to do with this grave? Well, in one of her conversations, she will tell you that she killed her mother by poisoning her as she was crazy. She lives right next to the lighthouse as well. But in my opinion, that shouldn't have anything to do with this grave, as just because it is near where she lives doesn't mean this is her mother's grave. Another theory that used to be very popular surrounding this grave, and I'm talking about this because when I was in 4th grade, everyone in my class was also having the same theory, and that is that this is John Marston's grave. Well, let's be real. We all know what happened to John, and if you didn't know, well, now you know. But that makes absolutely no sense, since his grave was not on top of a mountain. However, one thing that I found very interesting about this grave is that it is used as one of the location for a treasure hunt prior to the release of Red Dead Redemption 2, which does make you wonder, was the players right all along? But truth be told, I'm not sold on this whatsoever. I just think that even more than a decade later, especially in the year of Grand Theft Auto 6, the fact that we're still talking about this grave just proves the point of its existence and not much else. Rest in peace whoever you are, and thank you for keeping us riddled. There is a bunker in GTA 5 which is situated underwater, but if you get close to the bunker, it will actually light up. The bunker is situated at the right side of the outer map in the Pacific Ocean. In order to go down there and be fine, you need to either enable a cheat for unlimited lung capacity to get down below, or make sure you have rebreathers. After you get close to the bunker, it will actually light up. It is a pretty well-known Easter egg at this point, but in case you didn't know about it, now you do. It's obvious that there is a man underwater down here. Otherwise, how else would the light turn on? That definitely makes it suspicious in its own way, because what if this is an underwater government lab? What if there are some kind of research that is taking place here? We don't know. A popular theory is that this is a movie reference, or in this case a TV show reference. People believe that this is a reference to the show Lost. But in the show, the bunker is actually found in a jungle, not underwater. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense. If the player swims just above the hatch, a strange tapping noise is clearly audible. The tapping noise has no clear pattern, and many players have hypothesized that the tapping noise was Morse code, which would possibly reveal a secret message to the player if deciphered. The noise is actually a tap code, which is a code composed of short taps and pauses similar to Morse code. The code is deciphered as, "Hey, you never call. How'd you fancy going bowling?" This message is a humorous reference to Roman Bellic, the cousin of Grand Theft Auto 4 protagonist Niko Bellic. But aside from all of that and it being a fun Easter egg, let's look at it from a realistic point of view. There is a man underneath the hatch. What if it's a man who is stuck inside and is knocking for your help? Because realistically speaking, why would anyone start to knock from an underwater hatch? I guess you could say that it's because the person is trying to scare you away, sort of like how people knock near a fish that is in an aquarium just to see the fish react to the knock. But I believe it is someone that is actually looking for your help, and that's why he is knocking you. Of course, that is only believable if you can look past the reference to Roman from Grand Theft Auto 4, but unfortunately no other mention to this hatch has ever been made. Grand Theft Auto games usually don't feature children at all, and GTA 5 is no different. However, that's not entirely true. You see, even though there are no actual child NPC in the game itself, resemblance of how children would look is still there, as you can find children to be advertised on the in-game internet, specifically the website which goes by as acceptthechaos.com. After you select the website, make sure you click on Wanna Play God. After you have selected this, you will find out that an image of a happy family will appear, but after that, once you select next, you will see the family is brutally killed. From the looks of it, it seems that it is an accident. It is notable that this is the only website where children appears, as I don't know of any other website where you might be able to find any other children or kids. It is definitely very disturbing that there are no other children in any other website or in the actual game, but the only children that ever appear in this game are simply dead. Makes you really wonder, why did Rockstar do this? To be honest, the website is sort of like a cult, so in order to hypnotize people, it does kinda make sense as to why you would put something so shocking in your website, not to mention the fact that everything in this game is pretty much a parody of real life, so it does make a lot of sense as to why there are so many wild things appearing in the world of Los Santos. The only other game to ever actually feature children is GTA Vice City Stories, where a baby is seen in a cutscene. Located in Vinewood Hills, Los Santos, you can find a marking in red that tells 1807 and an arrow pointing to the left. But what is it about? The house left of the marking looks just like any other house in Vinewood. Exploring the house, you can see there are some solar panels on top of the house. There is also a pool behind the house, which is very nice. So, the markings 1807 actually points towards the reference of Charles Manson. In both GTA 5 and GTA Online, NPCs spawn in the backyard between 1800 to 400 hours. The scenario points for these NPCs have the stationary reactions flag enabled, which, due to an intentional failsafe, causes them to instantly die when bumped into by the player. The flag causes NPCs to cower when spooked, as opposed to fleeing, and is intended to be used in constricted spaces, such as balconies and other inaccessible areas. Since NPCs cannot play a suitable hit animation when in the cower position, they are instead forced to instantly die. The graffiti is a reference to Charles Manson, a criminal who led the Manson family cult and was convicted of several murders. The numbers 07 in the graffiti represents the number of murders Manson was convicted of. Rockstar may have left the stationary reactions flag enabled due to making the mansion feel creepy, as it is linked with Charles Manson. But who is he? Charles Miles Manson was an American criminal, cult leader, and musician who led the Manson family, a cult based in California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Some cult members committed a series of at least 9 murders at 4 locations in July and August 1969. In 1971, Manson was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder for the deaths of 7 people, including the film actress Sharon Tate. The prosecution contended that while Manson never directly ordered the murders, his ideology constituted an overt act of conspiracy. Other than this, there are no uses for this house when it comes to gameplay. In GTA Online, sometimes this location is used as a drop point for some business activities, which means in the game's universe, there are normal people living in the mansion and not really much else. This is my personal theory, but before we get into it, you need to understand what Manhunt is. Manhunt is developed and published by Rockstar Games as a stealth horror title. In this game, you play as James Earl Cash, who is put in a snuff ring and he has to kill his enemies as brutally as possible in order to survive. Snuff is a kind of movie where real murders or violence takes place, and it is intended to be consumed for sexual purposes. In short, the viewers who watch these kind of films watch them because it makes them aroused. The events of this game takes place at a city called Carcer.
It looks like this goes all the way to the top. I can't trust anyone, least of all the police, and time's running out. I've got to get the one piece of evidence that will expose Starkweather without a shadow of a doubt. Footage and testimony of a man who was executed by the state 5 hours ago.
James Earl Cash, found guilty and sentenced to death, has been on death row for the past 3 years and was executed last night.
Hey, tough guy, wake up. You're not dead. Well, not yet, anyway. You're getting a second chance. Another throw of the dice. As far as the world is concerned, you died back in the chamber. Justice was served. James Earl Cash is rotting in hell. Hey, get a grip and calm down. You're probably suffering from shock, and I'm here to help. Pick up the ears. Put it on. Go on. That's better. Now only you can hear me. And that's the way you're gonna want it, because I'm your only way out of here. Hey, easy. Look, you've had an unexpected reprieve. Do exactly as I say, and I promise this will be over before the night is out.
Now you might be wondering, what does that have to do with Michael? Well, in the Paleto Bay heist, Michael will actually mention this place and he will say that his first ever heist took place in the outskirts of Carcer City. And that's it. The place and Manhunt in general is never really mentioned by anyone in the game. but it does mean that Michael's past is connected with Manhunt.
You ever hit a bank before, Franklin?
Yeah, I was the driver on the job my boy Lamar pulled. Guess it's the same kind of shit we doing now, right?
Nice, bro. What was the take?
Shit, I don't know, man. I can't remember.
Come on. Everyone remembers their first score.
Shit, not me.
Huh? Mikey, bro, what was your first bank score?
88, outskirts of Carcer City. Took a small franchise for 10G. Yeah, things were easier back then.
Yeah, 25 years ago. Jesus!
Michael has to know what happened to Carcer City. Carcer used to be a booming industrial zone. Unfortunately, crime fell upon and the rise of criminals made normal people and civilians abandon the city, which is why in Manhunt, the city feels extremely deserted, even though the only deserted part should be the snuff ring set. Leonard Starkweather used to be a movie director trying his best to rise in Vinewood. Unfortunately, his movies flopped very badly, which meant his status in Vinewood was also not that great. This pushed him towards insanity, which ultimately led him to create snuff film. He later took revenge on those who doubted him and belittled him. The police of Carcer City was basically in his pocket, which made all of this all the more possible. So Michael, being reasonably fine with committing crimes himself, I don't see any reason as to why he wouldn't be okay to whatever is happening in Carcer. Now, it is important to mention that he wasn't exactly at Carcer City, he was in the outskirts of it, but that is still good enough for Michael to know what has happened in Carcer City. The only thing that we don't actually know is the timeline of the events. What if Michael also played a part in the snuff film? What if he heard the events that happened in Carcer City and that made him even harder mentally? We don't know. But it would be very interesting to see if we get to explore Carcer like North Yankton in Grand Theft Auto 6, but I highly doubt it will happen. The mystery of the unknown keeps everything way more interesting than being unfolded.
Look out! Grenade! So I guess we shooting our way out of here. How you doing back there, Frank?
Leonora Johnson is a very well-referenced character of Los Santos. She has her own website called WhoKilledLeonoraJohnson.com. If you go to the other side of the lighthouse, you will set foot on Mount Gordo. Now wait there till 2300 hours and you should be able to see a ghost appear at this mountain. Near the ghost girl is the word Jock written in blood. This is to signify that she was killed by Jock Cranley. This is actually what most people believe. The reality is that the ghost is not of Leonora Johnson's. It is the ghost of Jolene Cranley Evans. She's the wife of John Cranley who pushed and killed her, which is why her ghost appear at night and the blood markings of Jock also appear right next to her. It's because her ghost is actually trying to tell the players what her husband did. But why did so many people get it mixed up? Actually, when this game came out, even I thought this was connected with Leonora Johnson too. The reason for that is because if you read the website called WhoKilledLeonoraJohnson.com, you will find that there are mentions as to whether she was pushed or not, which does tie in with the ghost being at the mountain. However, if you actually read the Key Players tab of the website, you will see that the name of John Cranley as Jock is actually not mentioned at all, which basically means that she is actually not killed by John Cranley, otherwise the name would have been mentioned. Also, the names that were actually mentioned, like Richard's Majestic, sticks out because if you are doing the murder mystery collectible where you have to find 50 pieces of papers hidden throughout the entire map, you will end up getting to Richard's Majestic as well. Also, when you find the actual killer, he is not Jock, which is why the ghost girl has nothing to do with Leonora Johnson but Jolene. Cranley was born in 1952 and lived in Blaine County, San Andreas prior to his fame. During the 1970s, Cranley aspired to be a professional stuntman in Los Santos, but his wife Jolene objected to them moving to Los Santos as she wanted to stay in Blaine County. So one day when the couple went hiking up Mount Gordo in 1978, Cranley threw his wife over the side of a cliff, killing her. He was taken into custody by the police but immediately released without charge. John Cranley actually ended up to be a commentator on the Arena Wars update, which means After all this time, Rockstar didn't forget about him at all. Remember Fred Quincy? Well, he not only killed Isaac, he also killed a woman whose body is all the way down under the sea. The reason she doesn't float like an ordinary dead body is because her legs are actually confined within concrete. At least from what it looks like, it seems that she was probably suffocated to death before throwing her body underwater. Otherwise, I don't see any point in covering her face because no one is going to find her, and for her, she will be dead underwater, which would make it pointless. I say that while finding her myself. So she's tied up with the line of murders committed by Fred Quincy. But what is her story? We know that Isaac is dead because he didn't give his best on his performance. But what about her? We never really get to know what actually happened to her. Well, let's take a look at the clues themselves first. Old Fred acts nice, but it ain't so. Fred makes cartoons for kids. Funny thing considering what he did. Ain't no mystery, they drowned her because of what she knew. David Richards knows. Well, from the sounds of it, it seems like Rockstar wanted to give this character a stereotypical Hollywood death. In Hollywood, when a whistleblower gets exposed, they always end up dying. I don't need to give you guys any example because I think you already know. But I can already see that here it's probably the same case too. This lady knew too much but wasn't really part of the circle, and that got her killed. She gave it away and they couldn't trust her anymore. Other than that, there is no information out there to tell us who she was, and unfortunately we can't see her face either. Not that seeing it would make that much of a difference anyway, but it begs the question, what other heinous crimes has Fred committed? This is probably gaming's one of the most mysterious myth of all time, probably up there next to G-Man himself. It is so mysterious that it has its own subreddit where people talk about it all the time and speculating whether it can be something or another. But what is it all about? Mount Chilliad mystery, like the name suggests, stems from Mount Chilliad. It is the highest mountain in the game, and that's why almost every player wants to go here at least once. It's a tradition in any open world game to reach the highest point and probably take a leap of faith to see what happens. But once you reach the mountains and get to the top, you will see that a caddy ride is available here, but right there you will see this, and the rest is history. From 2013 to all the way even now, there are thousands of people still looking for clues to solve this mystery. Why did Rockstar put this here? What is its purpose? Well, let's take a closer look at it first. So, there are a couple of symbols, and by the looks of it, they are all connected with each other. At the very top, you can see an eye, which is often referred to as the all-seeing eye. Maybe it's God. Maybe it's an interpretation of artificial intelligence taking over everything. Maybe it's the universe, or more accurately, the UFOs of GTA 5, as those do fly overall. And at the very bottom are three distinct symbols of a cracked egg which seems like it is about to hatch, a UFO, and lastly a jetpack person. But what do it all mean? Let's get over the theories that have emerged because of this, and I will skip some absolute ridiculous ones because those are literally made by Harvard professionals and people like you and me will not understand them. Maybe you can, but I won't. Instead, we will take a look at theories which are interesting and one that is most likely the answer to this. Toadstars says, the egg is Franklin, who hatches a new life for himself in the story. The UFO is Michael and his alienation from his family. The jetpack is Trevor and his past as a pilot. The UFO and jetpack are connected together by a line below the egg. It represents Michael and Trevor's past. The UFO's line connects to the egg first. Michael met Franklin first. The jetpack's line connects to the egg later. Franklin meets Trevor later in the game. The egg's line reaches the top of the mountain and the UFO and jetpack do not. This is because Franklin doesn't die, but Michael or Trevor can. The 5x markings are what the player needs to do to attain 100% completion, and one of the conditions required to see the UFO as well. They are storyline, strangers and freaks, only Franklin's count, of course, random events, hobbies and pastimes, and miscellaneous tasks. The lightning bolts represents the weather condition required if you want to see the UFO. The X line reaching the top of the mountain and X markings could probably represent the Strangers and Freaks mission for Franklin where you hunt Bigfoot. This is actually a really interesting theory because it does line up quite well with the symbols. However, the most believed theory behind this mystery is the Doomsday heist from GTA Online. In the Act 3 of the heist, you get to kill Avon Hertz while flying in a jetpack. The jetpack is available in GTA Online only. The mural at the gondola used to find the Mount Chilliad drawings can also be found or used to find the Mount Chilliad tunnel, which is the entrance to this mission, thus adding more evidence to support the GTA Online mission being the final answer to the Mount Chilliad mystery. Not to mention, you go down the tunnel that is inside Mount Chilliad, which means the tunnel's map is probably resembled on the glyph. Another believable theory is that this is just a reference to the 100% completion of GTA 5. If you go near the scopes, you will see underneath it a symbol of eyes are found and also the wording "come back when your story is complete," which eventually means once you complete the story and get back there at around 3 hours, a big UFO will appear. And other than this Easter egg, this theory doesn't entail to anything else. Now, what do I personally think? Honestly, I think it's just the amalgamation of both the UFO Easter egg and the Doomsday heist. Lots of players are still thinking that this game hasn't answered this theory but moved on to GTA 6, but personally, I think the final answer is the heist, and with that, this theory or this mystery has finally been concluded. Thank you so much for watching this video. It took very long to make this as this decade-old beast is still full of disturbing theories, and I'm sure the release of Grand Theft Auto 6 won't stop it. I hope we will get to learn a bit more about what happened to Carcer City, and hopefully we will get some more reference to the mysteries of Grand Theft Auto 5, which I'm pretty sure we will get. Please become a member of my channel if you watch my videos with ad block on, as in that case you would be supporting me quite a lot, and I would thank you for that very much. Also, I would be able to put more videos out much quicker. With that being said, this is Perfect Enrager, signing out.